Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. In a moment, I will introduce the host of today's session, but before I do, just a few quick announcements. We'll be answering your questions at the end of today's discussion, so please feel free to enter them into the chat at any time during the webinar. And for everyone that registered, we'll be sending out a recording of today's session, so keep an eye on your email for that. Now I will go ahead and introduce today's host, CoreALM President, Steve Oken. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Wanda, and thanks everyone for joining today. Before we get started on today's webinar, in case you're new to CoreALM, I'm going to give you an overview on who we are. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly here. Here we go. Okay, CoreALM's been in business for about 14 years. The company was started when our CEO and founder, Lavana Patucci, left his position at SAP, where he was the application lifecycle management lead at SAP. At the time, he was looking around and didn't see any other service providers that were in this space providing application lifecycle management services specifically for SAP customers, and decided to found CoreALM to do just that. Based on his position at SAP and his relationship with some existing customers, was able to serve some customers out of the gate and continue to do so. It was about 2018 when he saw an opportunity, because customers that run SAP, of course, also run many other applications in their landscape. And for those other applications, they use other tools such as Jira, Azure DevOps, and ServiceNow. And so saw an opportunity to integrate with those applications back to SAP to get the benefits of SAP's ALM tools. At the time, it was SAP Solution Manager 7.2, or even before that. And then now that SAP has Cloud ALM. And so starting in 2018, we were building integrations between applications like Jira, Azure DevOps, ServiceNow to SAP ALM tools such as Solution Manager and SAP Cloud ALM, which gives you the ability to have a consistent process on the front end using those standard tools, and then get the benefits of SAP on the back end to include features such as test automation, ITSM, and incident management integrations, as well as automated testing capabilities that are available as part of those SAP ALM tools. Since that time, we've served some of SAP's largest customers. Many of these customers have used our services to implement Solution Manager, Cloud ALM, or to integrate those and continue to run our tools to provide those types of integrations. We cover all aspects of the application lifecycle management process, whether it's planning, build, testing, release management, or monitoring. We provide services associated with each of those. We also have tools that help to do that, and those can live on in your environment, whether you're doing an implementation or whether you're in maintenance mode. And then we also have capabilities in other tool sets, and we can give you a holistic ALM tool chain, including Signavio, Tricentis, and some other applications that you might be using to manage your SAP changes and projects. Before using CoreALM's tool set, if you're using SAP's delivery platform and SAP's ALM tools like Cloud ALM and Solution Manager, but you're also using tools like Jira, Azure DevOps, ServiceNow, Signavio, Tricentis, maybe you're experiencing what many of our customers tell us about as part of their challenges, which includes decentralized data access. So if you want to look at requirements and provide traceability between requirements, test cases, and transports, for instance, you have many tools that you need to look at. If you have a compliance officer, somebody who's looking at whether or not your changes are meeting compliance, or an auditor, internal or external auditor, who's looking at those systems, sometimes they have to access that data from multiple different applications. We also see that because there's different systems where the data is entered, that often leads to data inconsistencies and a duplication of effort. And so, of course, that means that there's a lack of automation between those tools. That's really what we set out to solve. So when we take the CoreALM delivery platform, what we add on top is our cloud connectors, our solution manager connectors. On the next page, I'll show you that we also have connectors directly to SAP Transport Management Services to manage changes directly within SAP. And then we have an Agile Scrum board that sits on top of SAP Focus Build that allows you to kind of visualize your project level changes, similar to what you would see in Jira. So all of those tools solve those problems of the data inconsistencies by giving you an application where you can manage everything from one place. All the data is visible, the information is shared, it's synchronized in both directions in real time. You have access to all of those pieces of data, and it's all automated in terms of the integrations. So that is what we're going to be discussing today in a particular scenario. Just wanted to walk you through that overall. I did mention we also have direct transport management controls to integrate. If you want to manage transports directly from Jira, Azure DevOps, and ServiceNow, you can connect that directly to your SAP backend, and you can manage transports directly from Jira. That can be very helpful if you're running projects and you don't want to have to switch back and forth between tools, as well as from a compliance and audit perspective, all the information is in one place. Very quickly, this is just a summary of the full set of products that we have. You can see on the left is Solution Manager connectors, in the middle, CloudALM connectors, on the right, direct connectors for transport management. And then you can see Jira, Azure DevOps, ServiceNow. This isn't everything, but this is a good view of what we have in terms of connections for both implementation and operations. So I'll stop there in terms of the background information, and let's talk about today's topic. So in just a minute, I'm going to introduce the host of today's webinar. Before I do that, just a few quick announcements. Of course, I want you to let us know why you're here. But this is a product deep dive on the Jira Connector for Solution Manager alerting. Why is this topic relevant? So for many companies that use SAP, they also use Jira to track all of their work items. And those same companies may also use Solution Manager to capture any alerts that are coming from the backend SAP production platform. So what they would like is for those alerts that they're capturing within Solution Manager, they want to create a work item in Jira for somebody to go investigate that alert and decide whether or not there needs to be a solution or a problem that will get resolved as part of an SAP fix. So in order to assign those resources, they want to automatically be able to take an alert that's generated inside of Solution Manager, and from there create an issue or a ticket in Jira that would allow them to do that. So in today's webinar, I'm going to talk to Sajith Kanath, who will explain how you can automatically track issues in Jira for alerts that are raised in Solution Manager. I'd love to hear more about why you decided to join today's webinar, so please put your questions in the chat. For today's seminar demonstration, I will now invite Sajith Kanath. Sajith has been with CoreALM since 2017. Before that, he spent about 9 years as an SAP basis consultant at Infosys, Capgemini, and Accenture. And he's one of our CoreALM product architects, ALM architects. And of course, he's helped serve many very large customers, including Bayer, Kyndryl, and QVC. So welcome, Sajith.
Thanks, Steve. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. So I'll help start with the presentation, which will give you a high-level overview about the Jira connector for alert monitoring. Just give me a second. So after hope my screen is still visible. So before we start with the live demo, we'll walk you through a presentation which will give you a high-level overview about the features and functionalities of the connector for alert monitoring integration with Jira. Hope you can see the presentation.
Yep. We can, thank you.
Yeah, so what our connector does is it provides a tight integration between SAP Solution Manager, application monitoring. So you have different monitoring options within Solution Manager you can configure. You have system monitoring, end user experience monitoring, integration monitoring, and so on, which can be configured in Solution Manager. And for each of the monitoring configured, you will be setting a threshold criteria for which the alert will be generated within Solution Manager, and you'll be able to see this alert in the alert inbox in Solution Manager, and the corresponding details will also be visible. And what we normally need to do is whenever there is an alert generated, we have to assign it to the help desk or basis support team to look into the alert, and somebody has to manually create the incident in whichever ticketing tool you're currently using or the organization is currently using. And our connector automatically creates a ticket in the ticketing tool that the organization is using, whether it's ServiceNow, Jira, or Azure DevOps, whatever it is. And whenever an alert is generated, whenever you have an alert in the inbox, it's going to automatically trigger a call to the Jira, and it will automatically create a story or task or whatever issue type you have defined for the integration. So in this example, we are dealing with the alert connector for Jira. We also have the connectors for ServiceNow and Azure DevOps as well. But in this demo, we'll be showing the connector, the integration with Jira. So just a high-level architecture overview, how it works. So it's a bi-directional integration between Jira and SAP Solution Manager system. And the advantage or benefit of this integration is that as Jira is going to be used across the organization by both SAP and non-SAP systems, any changes into the Jira instance can have a high impact. And because of this, we are not going to use, or we are not asking the customers to deploy any plugin or extension on the Jira side. So the connector will work with the existing default functionality available in Jira, using which is called the webhook, which will be used for the communication from Jira to Solution Manager. And the communication from Solution Manager to Jira is using standard REST APIs provided by Atlassian. And this doesn't require any changes to your existing Jira workflow. So whichever custom workflow or standard out-of-the-box workflow you have in Jira, the connector can well adapt to it. And as I mentioned initially, you don't need to do any plugin deployment. The only thing is that you have to create a couple of custom fields in Jira, and you need to create a webhook. No additional configuration or customization required within Jira for the connector to work. So as you can see in the diagram here, so the connection from Jira to Solution Manager can be through a proxy, which is optional, or if you have a web dispatcher for exposing the Solution Manager to Jira, you can use that. And again, from the connectivity perspective, Solution Manager to Jira is using API calls, and it can also be through a proxy or a direct connection to Jira. And this is a workflow how this connector works. As I mentioned earlier, whenever an alert is generated in Solution Manager, it's going to automatically create an issue in Jira. So the issue type can be a story or epic or a task, which you can configure within the connector. And as you can see here, from the alert created, it's going to create a story, and it is using the out-of-the-box statuses in Jira. It will be initially in to-do status, and the assign is going to pick up that story, which will be moved to in progress. And whenever the assignee works on that issue, and whenever it is resolved or closed, it is going to automatically make a call back to Solution Manager alert, and it will automatically confirm the alert within the alert inbox. So there's no manual work at all. So whenever during an alert creation, it's going to create the story, and whenever you close the story, the alert will get confirmed. And so as we mentioned earlier, we need to do minimal configuration or customization on the Jira side, which includes a few custom fields. As you see here, there's a custom field which is called SAP alert, in which you will be seeing the alert name, and it is also a URL. Once you click on that, it will directly take you to the corresponding alert in Solution Manager. So on the right side, you can see the corresponding alert details in the alert inbox. And in the comment section, you can also see for each alert what is the related issue ID. And so once the issue is closed, you will also be seeing the status of the alert as closed. And in case, so we are also grouping alerts so that if the same alert is getting generated twice and the previous alert is still open, it won't create a new issue on the Jira side. Instead, it is going to update the existing issue saying that a new alert is generated at this timestamp, as you can see in the comments here. So this avoids creation of duplicate issues on the Jira side, and all the details of the alerts will be visible in the description section, including if you have any URL or any additional information mentioned in the alert, you can also see that. And whenever you close a story a task, you can mention the closure comments, and that comments will also be visible, updated in the comment section in the alert inbox. And we are also providing an option to route or filter the alerts and assign it to specific teams within Jira. So if you have a custom field called teams, or if you have a specific group called teams in Jira, based on each alert type, for example, if it's a performance issue or if it's a high priority outage, so you can define filter conditions based on which whenever an alert is generated, when an issue is created for the corresponding alert, it will get automatically assigned to that particular team or that particular user. So you can define as many rules as you want, and it's completely customizable with multiple options. As you can see here based on category, if it's performance, and if it is for a technical instance, assign it to problem analyzers and so on. So that's it on a high level about the features and functionalities. Now what we can do is we can go to the system and see which all alerts we currently have and how the functionality works. And as I mentioned, here is an alert which we have for which the MS SQL database is not available, and all the details of that particular alert is there in the description. And as you can see, this is the standard Jira screen, and there is no plugin or extension or anything. And there's a custom field which I talked about, which is SAP alert. And this is also, you can see there's a hyperlink. If you click on that, it will take you directly to that related alert in Solution Manager. So let me just wait for opening that, and you can see this is alert number. All the details here are here. MS SQL database not available. Object is PRD system, and this is the Jira issue ID. So ALT124. So for each of the alerts, you will be able to see the corresponding information in the alert inbox. So ALT129 ABAP system not available. So for all these alerts, there is just one occurrence. And if you let me just go to any of the previous alerts so that I can show you if there are multiple occurrence of the alert. So yeah, so here you can see this alert was initially created a long time ago, and this was an old one. But whenever there's a new alert generated for this, you'll be seeing a comment section where new alert generated at this particular timestamp instead of creating a new issue for the same alert. And as I mentioned, if I close this particular alert, or if I close this particular issue on the Jira side, it's going to close the corresponding or confirm the corresponding alert in Solution Manager automatically. So this functionality is using the standard webhook feature in Jira, which will make a call to the Solution Manager system, and the corresponding alert will be confirmed. So the basis team or whoever is responsible for working on this alert will pick up this issue and will be moved to in progress, and once it is set to done status. So as per the current configuration that we have in our system, the closure or confirmation of the alert is set to done. And if you have a custom workflow, or if you want to set it to a different status, that is also completely possible. So based on your workflow, you can define at which status the corresponding alert needs to be confirmed. So now I'm going to set this to done status. And you should also be able to see this is have MS SQL database not available. Let me go here, and within some time you should be able to see the alert getting confirmed. Okay, sorry, I think that was the wrong alert. This is 127. Let me open that. Okay, yeah. So this is a alert LRT 127, and which is the one that we have closed just now. And you can see the status is moved to confirmed, and it was done by, so whichever user is processing it on the Jira side, that user information will also be passed, and you can see it in the comments. So now this alert is automatically confirmed. And if the issue is still not resolved, when a new alert is generated, now it's going to create a new issue because this issue is already closed. And let me go ahead and close this ALRT 124. So I'll put some closure comments. Now you can see this got closed, and whichever comment I entered in the closure comments, that will also be updated in the comment section. So and we mentioned about having a rule engine for defining or filtering the alerts and navigating of assigning to the corresponding groups. So this is the option that we have. For each of the alerts, you can define a new rule and provide the description, and you can fetch the assignment group. So this is currently showing some create, and here you will see different options of fields available, and then you have different logic operators, and you can even use and or close and define multiple filter options here. And accordingly, whenever a new alert is generated, it's going to assign it to the corresponding field or corresponding user group in Jira. And we also have a retry functionality, and in case if there is an alert is not generated, so we also have a queuing mechanism within Solution Manager. We'll be able to check and reprocess the corresponding alerts, and also we are maintaining a corresponding table on the Solution Manager system, for which you'll be able to see all the information about that particular alert and the corresponding issue types and everything. So that's all about the functionality and about the demo. If you have any questions, you can paste that in the chat. We'll be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Sajid. I do see there's one or two questions already in the chat. If you have more questions, please do enter them. The first question was around installation. How does the tool get installed?
Yeah, so the installation of the tool is pretty simple. As I mentioned, you don't have to do any installation on Jira. We'll be providing our connector, which needs to be deployed within the Solution Manager system. And as I mentioned earlier, the integration is pretty much straightforward, wherein you don't, there is no third party or middleware system. The integration is going to be directly between the customer Solution Manager system and customer Jira instance. So you have to deploy the connector within Solution Manager, and we just have to create a webhook and a couple of custom fields in Jira, and then that's it. The integration is going to work.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And that sounds pretty easy. And how long does it take roughly to get things going?
So for most of the customers, what we have seen is to having the connectivity established between Jira and Solution Manager system. So if we have the connectivity ready, so we can even do this the complete installation configuration within a couple of days, in fact.
Okay, amazing. That's great. And then what other options do we have if for customers that want to monitor alerts? I think we have some other products, right? So right now you were showing the Jira capability.
Exactly, yeah. So Jira is so most of the customers use ServiceNow as a ticketing tool. So we have a similar connector for the ServiceNow, wherein you can, so that is going to be tightly integrated with the incident management module in ServiceNow. So in here you can see an alert creates a corresponding issue in Jira, whereas in our ServiceNow connector, it's going to create a corresponding incident in ServiceNow. Similarly, we have a connector for the Azure DevOps. Whenever an alert is generated, it is going to create a work item on the Azure DevOps side. But the basic functionality and feature are similar for all these products.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. Yeah, and I like the feature of being able to map alerts to the same item, so you don't end up with a lot of duplication.
Yeah, and
what
the
about
feature is that it doesn't create duplicates. So most of the cases, even if you have a duplicate alert, it's not going to create a duplicate issue or a duplicate incident. Instead, it updates the same existing incident in ServiceNow or in Jira.
That's great. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then for customers that are also running Jira for projects, what options do they have to help with integrations from a project perspective?
So we have, so for customers who are running using Jira, so we have connectors for Focus Build and Jira. So it's a bi-directional integration. You can have requirements, work packages, and work items created automatically from Jira, and you can have status changes between these two systems, which means whenever you make a status change in Focus Build, it's going to update in Jira and vice versa.
Okay. Okay, great. Perfect. I think those are all the questions that I see in the chat. Does anybody have anything else? I will give you a chance to enter those questions. If not, we would like to thank you for joining us today. Hopefully this has been useful to help you understand all the different ways that you can get access to your alerts from inside of Jira. Thank you for joining today's webinar. And we will have other topics that are available. If you want to get in touch with us about anything in particular, please do reach out to us. You can go to our website, which is at corealm.com. That's corealm.com. And in the top right corner of the page, you will see a Talk to an Expert button, and that will allow you to get in touch with us directly. Of course, we also have additional webinars, so please do join us at corealm.com/resources, or you can just go to the webinars page, which is at the top right corner of our homepage screen, and you can see the existing resources there. That's all we have for today. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Sajeev.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you all. Have a good day.